apart from being a project manager, I have had the unusual blessing of being a part of setting up about 6 PMOs at different times, including the MTN rollout group. Documentation, the concept documents were written by my team at the time. There's capital programs. I'd like to say a couple of things about PMOs. And the two gentlemen here to my right does some serious definition. So I will not go over what they've said. I'll just like to add one more item to the definition, and then I'll explain my own understanding in general terms. A project management office, the truth is, most organizations and individuals who are even project managers don't understand how PMO is supposed to work, or what it's supposed to do, because it's not common in use around here. We have preponderance projects, plenty projects, but PMOs are not exactly yet accepted. Some organizations are even battling, what is the financial use? Why should I even use a PMO? I mean, you're a PM, you can manage it, manage everything together. Until problems...
So if you can just relate that, for example, to your experience in your time at Insight, coming in, I believe you were responsible for setting it up. What were the differences that you saw
between the traditional technical environment and the marketing comms? Yeah, that was one of the things that made me go there in the first instance. Yeah. Okay, so I found out a couple of things that showed up. First of all, they didn't have record of history. They always did their campaigns and their jobs with no proper records, including record of value, that's benefit realization. There was nothing that said we did this kind of campaign and we got this kind of result, and so we had. So you had, there was a lot of reputation noise around who they were without scientific data to back it up. Another one was performance. Did we finish under cost? How many times did we finish under cost? So I saw a lot of that happening. The second leg is, because you're dealing with creative people, you see, with the engineers and the technical realm where I was coming from, everything was clear. It is also amount of weeks, man hours, the variations, positive, minimum, highest. We will do this by this time. It is also decibel. There was definition of parameters and milestones that were very laid out. But with the creative guys, no. You hear classical things like, how many hours will this conceptualization for this 2 years campaign be? The guy goes, no, it is creative work. This was the first big frustration I faced. I'm looking at them, I'm like, if it is creative work, then we should become like Pablo Picasso and draw for 10 years so that we become very rich. Once business is there, you've got to explain to me. And it was a group. So you can have 25 clients across different brands talking simultaneously. So we had that kind of, so we first of all had to start calibrating how long does this kind of work, how long would it take? So we had that challenge seriously. We also had a culture. The bigger issue was a culture shift from a place of responsibility, from place of just doing the work to a place of accountability and responsibility. There's another thing I like to say about PMOs generally. You see, PMOs exist in two range, all the way from support to control. Now, what they were used to before was supporting kind of project managers. What they had inkling about, they were not even project managers, they were what you call traffic people who just took the job from one bus stop to the other. And that's like a support kind of function. So I took it, all of that, I took it to control, and it was across the group. So there was some noise around, you can't tell us what to do because I'm the technical guy. So I had to, there was that stakeholder and culture management that happened for a while, and so we had to try to change people's culture, also added performance metrics to things that were not defined. So a campaign is not just a campaign must come in time and at certain cost. Another one was vendor management. They didn't have very, very rigorous vendor management systems. In the technical world, the telco world where I was coming from, I mean, vendors were registered, there was a proper vendor management system. Here, they didn't have vendor management systems. There are vendors who collected budgets running into hundreds of millions of naira. They say they do shoot and all of that, and yet, they didn't at the time think it was necessary to have history, to have a vendor pre-qualification mechanism. So we had all of that and we had to tidy it up quickly. Some culture shift also had to happen there. So basically that's my experience. The last point I'd like to make about PMOs, and you took my conversation from the end and you flipped it by that question. The last point I'd like to make about PMOs is that PMOs exist at the point where an organization has grown in size and complexity, which is what Yusuf said. But the key here is, what type of PMO do I need? Do I just, because there are different variations of the execution of a PMO. Your own specific need should drive what type of PMO per time you should use. The fine tension between your future as an organization and your current operations. When you consider these questions, it will be clear what type and what type of framework you should adopt in the execution of physical manifestation of your PMO and the responsibilities and values you will want to mine from it.